Given an integer, array nums returns true if any value appears at least twice in an array. Return false if every element is distinct. So what we are going to do is like create an hash map. So as a hash map can have only one key for a duplicate. If it already exists, like one already exists in a hash map, we can return true, else will return a false. So given an integer, array numbers return true if any value appear at least twice in an array. So let's create an hash map. Order mapping of int comma int, or we can even create a set. Let's create a set. Create a set. Okay, let's create a set of int. Name it check. Okay. Now for each int I in nums, what we're going to do is like check if already exists. Check if check dot find I equal if it does not, if I check that end. Okay. If it does not exist, we'll do is check dot insert I, else and tin continue. Else what we are going to do is return if what already exists. If it doesn't exist, add it. If it already exists, return you true, else return here you are in return l also. Let's see. Okay. So it's simple, just create an unordered set. Check if already exists. If it's already exists, return true, else add it to the check set and continue, then at last return false. Now let's go to the next problem. Well, given two string s and t, return true if t is an anagram of s and false otherwise. What's an anagram? An anagram is a word or phrase formed by rearranging the letter of a different word or phrase using all the original letter exactly once. Okay. Constraints are one string length is 1 or greater than 1. Okay. T dot length is okay. Yes, consists of lowercase English integer. So what we're going to do is like if the amount of word in amount of letter it's same in both, and all the letter like a exists twice and a will exist in this also twice, every element of every letter of one string exists in another, so we can call it an anagram. Otherwise it will not be an anagram. Simple. So all we are going to do is like create a hash map. Create a hash map for both of these. First create a hash map of this. I will reduce this once again. Will subtract if at the end it's 0, like Okay. So what we're going to do is like create an hash map. Uh, Go through the all the element, all the letter from the first string, create an hash map and count how many times it exists. And in second, then again we'll create another loop, go through the second second string and subtract all the element that exist there to the value of the hash map. Okay, then we'll at last check if all the hash map value is 0. If it's 0, then it's true, otherwise it's false. So let's do this first. First we'll check if both the string are of same length. Check it. If sorry, MCTH length it's not equal to p dot MCTH length, then all we got to do is return false. Let's see false. Otherwise we'll do create an hash map. There is another way also. Oh, yes, first we'll create an hash map. Cab int. Okay, and name it serial count. Now let's loop through the first add C in S. And all we have to do is like check if count dot find C. If it does not exist, and if it does not exist, all we have to do is COUT count dot insert C. Once again, and do is C equal to 1. Else so you want to count C. So you want to count C plus 1. Okay. Then again, what we're going to do now, we'll create another loop for this, and instead of adding, if it already exists, we are going to subtract. Let's do this. For it's char in T. Let's do if you event count dot find C. If it does not, you event count dot end. If it does not exist, just return false. If false. If it exists, then we will count C, and count C minus 1, and at the end we are going to loop through all the value of count and check if all is zero. If all the element is zero, if all the element is zero, then we can be sure we can be okay. No. Okay, we can do is check if and count C. After subtracting it, count C equal to 0. All we are going to do is remove the count dot. We remove. Let's see. How to remove immediately from erase. Okay, erase. Let's do this. Erase. So that it will run fewer times. So now let's for each bottom percent pair so the count check if pair and the second is not equal to 0, your return if a value is false, else it will be return. Loop constant pair map. Okay, dot first dot second. Pair oh, let's try this one. Okay, now let's try to find an optimal solution. What's optimal? So we got few approaches: using hash map, using sorting, using array. Yeah. Let's do this. Okay. Using hash map, we can count a number of times a letter exists in a both string. Okay, so we did we did this already. Okay, comparing it same. Okay, now we're using sorting. So sort the both the string and compare if it is same. Okay, let's try the next approach for this problem. Okay. Now we're going to sort both the string. Okay, so simply but sorting takes analog n, I think, time complexity. So let's see. The previous one was log n, because we are already log all the for loop were running for n times. So time complexity was n. But for inserting and removing of an element in an order or in an order list, it's n. So okay, let's do this. So if sort, I forgot how to sort function for sort. Ctn function for sort string in C++. Sort. Okay, how is sort, start and begin. Yes, and then start begin greater than short s dot beginning comma s dot end. Okay, so it is short p dot bgn beginning comma t dot sorry period end. Okay, now all we're going to do is if s equal t, then e or e t on return true, else t on return fal is false. Even before this we can do this, like if s and t are of not same length, s dot length is not equal to t dot length. What we will do is return a is false. This approach also works. Now the third approach is using array. Okay, create an array of size 26 for all the alphabet from 0a and size 25 0 for a and index 0 for a and 25 for z. Convert all the alphabet to an ASCII to 0 to 26, and so we can do this by dividing minus smaller a, like alphabet. I'll show how to do that. Okay, now while given and range between 0 to 26, now based on the result above, increase the integer with 1 for every same character appears for second string. At the same time, decrease by the for all the for this problem the time complexity will be 26n. So 26 constant, we remove the constant, will be max to max. And so for both of the string you can perform this action in one loop. Okay, so what we are going to do is like paint. Okay, so what we are going to do is okay, use thickness. So what we're going to do is like we all know that we will only have a letter. We only have letters as a string. Okay. So we know that there is 26 letters in alphabet. Okay, in an English alphabet. So what we're going to do is create a array of 26 length 26. Okay, so first will be 0 index and last will be 25. So what we're going to do is we'll represent 0 as an a and 25 as an z. Okay, so what we'll do, from the first string we'll take the first string and loop to the string, and any letter, like for any letter in a string we'll change it to an ASCII, then we will map it to 0 to 26. Okay, we'll first of all change the letter into ASCII and then map it to 0 to 26, and from that mapping we'll, like if a, we'll map it to 0 and we'll add 1 for s, and for the second string t will, if A appears, we'll subtract at index 0. Like for any like t, if t exists in S, let's say the t is here, for some index, we'll add +1. For the second string t, we'll subtract -1. Okay, so let's try to implement this one in a code. Okay, so what we're going to do is, let's create an array. Okay. Array of integer count. We'll be counting. Okay. Array of an integer of size 26. Okay. Let's see it. Okay. Oh. So it needs to be here. Yeah, length 26. And done. So now what we're going to do is, loop through the both of the string. Loop through. Now I'll show you like how to do this problem using one for loop or two for loops. So first of all, like let's do two for loops. We'll go all cab cin hash. What we're going to do is change the alphabet into ASCII. So how do we change? What we're going to do is loop through all this. Now we're going to count, go through what I will do is C minus A plus at like C minus A plus C, like if it's A, then A, and A ASCII value minus A will give us, like, let's see, let's go open an ASCII. ASS ASCII values. Let's go to the table. Okay, let's open an okay, so open in new tab. So open image in new tab. So we know the ASCII value of an A, smaller A, is 97. You know that, 97. So what we're doing is A is 97, and let's from and character C, any character that will appear here, let's say it's B. The B ASCII is 98. B is 98. So what we are doing is 98 minus 97, that will be 1. So at index 1 we are adding 1. Okay, so now let's do the same thing for char c in t. So we are going to count c minus a. Instead of plus plus, we are going to do minus. Okay, we do this one again. We need to do else condition for if checking the both length of the string it's same. Okay. So let's do this. If s dot length is not equal to t dot gth length, we are going to do is return false. Okay, otherwise we'll do this one. Okay, at the end we are going to loop through this. Okay, hold on, and int I in count, and we are going to do is check if I equal I is not equal to 0, we are going to return if false so we need to initialize this. Let's see how to initialize and set it to here 0 in C++. One second. Declare all. Declare an array named count with an element initialized to 26. Says the initialization of 26 element to 0 is instead of doing this we'll do 0 over here and 26 over here. Okay. So let's submit this. Yep. Let's submit this one. Okay, now instead of doing this in 2 loops, we can do this in 1 loop. It will give the same outcome as like if any number that hasn't appeared, any letter that hasn't appeared in any letter that hasn't appeared in first one will have appeared in the second one, but instead of this for loop we need to change it to this one, and int I is equal to 0 while I is less than s dot length. We are doing s dot length because we can do t dot length also because both the length are same. So I plus plus, and instead of c we are going to do s dot I and t dot I. So any letter that hasn't already appears in this one but appears in this one will make it -1, and once it appears in this one we'll add +1, so it will become 0. Right. So let's run this. Okay, so okay, now let's move on to the next problem. Next problem, to sum. Okay, given an array of integers, nums, and an integer target, return indices of the two numbers such that they add up to a target. You may assume that each input will have exactly one solution, and you may not use the same element twice. You can return the answer in any order. Let's go through an example to see what. Okay, so nums 2, 7, 11, so, and target is 9, 0. Okay, so what the problem is asking, like we given an array, we'll add any two elements to get a target value. Okay, so how can we do this? Okay, so do some problem. So it's like basically we can use a what do you call hash map. So how we're going to use, like we already know the target value. So in a hash map, we need indices. Okay, so target 9. So we have a target. So what we do is target minus this will be 7. So we'll add 7 at index 0. Then target this minus this will be 2. Let me show you like how we are going to do this, right? How we are going to do this. So let me erase. So how we are going to do this is okay, we'll have an, let's say 2, 7, 11, 15, 11 and 15. We have target of 9. So index 0, 1, 2, 3. So what we are going to do is we'll create an hash map. Yeah, map. We'll do in every iteration, we'll take this element and target. We'll subtract target minus, let's say I, and we'll get an element, any element, like for 9 minus 2 we'll get 7. So we'll in a hash map we'll add 7, 0. We need 7 in we want 7 in an array. In this array we need 7 in this array if 7 exists. So by adding 7 that element and this element, we can get target. So what we are going to do is 7, 0. Then we'll go move on to this one. Then 9 minus 7. So first we'll check if 7 already exists. We'll move to this one. Before doing this, we check if 7 exists. If it exists, by adding this and this element, we will get target. I will show you in code. Okay, how to do this. So let's create an unordered map of int. Okay. Check. Now what we'll do is will loop for each int I in nums. What we are going to do is check if check find check if I exist. If I exist, check that end. So what we are going to do is, if I exist, what we are going to do is return. We'll create a vector, we set your vector and int res result. Okay, what we are going to do is, if check if it exists. Instead of going to like this, when you can do and I with 0, I is less than nums I plus plus nums dot it is size. Okay, and instead of doing this, nums I, if it exists, what we are going to do is but yes dot push back. What we're going to push back is, if it already exists, we're going to push back in nums I, the value of nums I, comma I. One second. Instead of doing this, we can directly return. You want to return. Okay, already valid answer exists. So what are we going to do? Return. We set a vector int nums I, comma I. Okay. If it exists. If it does not exist, what we're going to do is, so check if nums 7 exists. Like if 7 exists, if first 2 does not exist. So what we're going to do is, check the target target minus nums I equal to I at that index. So 9 minus 2 will be 7, plus 7 will be 0. We are adding a new one. Okay. Let's do this. Otherwise, we will return 0,0. Expect outcome 7,1, but expected 0,1. Okay. So instead of like 4, so we need 1, 0, we need 1, 2, 1 and 2. So we are getting 2. So we need instead of getting nums I, sorry, not nums I, check check I. Okay. So still are getting error in this one, 0 and 2. Where are we getting 0? So 6 minus 3. 6 minus 3 will be 3. 3 comma 0. So we'll go ahead. 6 minus 4. 4. 1. 6 minus 2. 2. What is happening? Sorry, instead of I, we're going to do nums I. Now, okay, so let's now, we did it to some problem. Now let's do this in very optimal way. Okay. Unsorted using hash map to sum unsorted. Okay, we have two problem for to sum, like one is for sorted and another for unsorted. So we're going to we used a hash map and solve this one. So this for unsorted to sum. We can improve on this one by, instead of like we can change it like instead of target -1, we'll add, okay, 1 second. Instead of 7, we'll do take 2 0, and at this 7 minus 2 with 9 minus 2, then 2. Then we check if 2 exists. If 2 exists, then like instead of like we'll do, instead of checking before 7 exists, or like we'll start from here. We check if 2 exists, right, in an map, and then do target minus I. Okay, target minus index I. So we are currently doing this one. Instead of doing this one, we are adding like negative this value and index. Instead of doing this one, we can also do, first we subtracted like 9 minus 2, that's 7. We'll check if 7 exists. Okay, and we'll add 2 0 at 2 we have 2 at index 0. Then in second loop we'll do 9 minus 7 will 2, and we'll check if 2 exists. Before we are checking like if 7 exists. Now we are doing 2 exists. After subtracting the value, we are checking into hash map, and in this previous the one we implemented, we are checking if 7 exists. Okay. Okay, let's now. Okay, let's move on. Let's see my previous solutions, how I did previously. So this one. Let's check this one. Okay. What I said, like, first we are subtracting and checking that one. Instead of adding, we are adding current element, not target minus. In this solution we are doing target minus this, and we are checking that one. Okay, Both are the perfect solution. You can implement any one of these. Okay, so let's move on. One second. We can do this too. Okay. Like both are an optimal solution. You can implement any one of these. Any one of this one. Now let's move on to the next problem. It is group anagram. Now given an array of a string, group the anagram together. You can return the answer in any order. Okay. So this one is a medium level problem. So let's see. Example. So we have given a list of a string, and we are going to group it based on if, like, okay, we can make we can have same. Okay, it's just the same. Okay, that's the this. Okay, one second. Explanation. There is no string in str that can be arranged from bat. Okay, so bat is alone. From the string nat and tan are anagram as they can be rearranged to form each other. Okay, so we can change one string to make another string. The string AET, EAT, and TEA are anagram as they can be rearranged to form each other. Okay. If it's empty, we are going to return empty. If it's A, we are going to return single A. Okay. So, try to figure this out. Okay. What we are going to do is one solution is like brute force one. Like we can take this one, check with every one if any of these is its anagram. Keep adding it to the list. One solution is this one, another we need to check an optimal. Okay, just try to figure it out. Okay, EAT, create an hash map. EAT. So what we're going to do, what I'm thinking, like I'm going to create a hash map, list of hash map. We'll add EAT to that list. Then we'll add this one and check both of them are, or we can sort. We can sort all of this. Then we can compare. That's also an option. Let's hash map and sorting of an string before adding a key for the hash map, and value of hash map 8 indices of a string. First indices, sort indices, and longest consecutive sequence. Value is sort indices, longest consequence. Use hash map. And sort the array of string before adding a key to a hash map. And the value of a hash map is the indices of the string. And the value of a hash map is the indices of the string. And the value of a hash map is the indices of the string. And the value of a hash map is the indices of the string. And the value of a hash map is the indices of the string. And the value of a hash map is the indices of the string. And the value of a hash map is the indices of the string. And the value of a hash map is the indices of the string. And the value of a hash map is the indices of the string. And the value of a hash map is the indices of the string. And the value of a hash map is the indices of the string. And the value of a hash map is the indices of the string. And the value of a hash map is the indices of the string. And the value of a hash map is the indices of the string. And the value of a hash map is the indices of the string. And the value of a hash map is the indices of the string. And the value of a hash map is the indices of the string. And the value of a hash map is the indices of the string. And the value of a hash map is the indices of the string. And the value of a hash map is the indices of the string. And the value of a hash value value and value of hash map is the indices of the string in a string array. Okay. So what longest consecutive store indices. String for adding as a key for hash map. Okay, so this now. So what we're going to do is we are going to create a copy of this. Okay. So let's do this. Let's create a copy. Ctl vector of str and string temp str strings. Okay. Now we are going to manipulate this one. We are going to sort every element of this string. Okay. Let's sort this one. We're going to for each str and string as in temp we're going to sort s dot beg beginning and s dot end. Okay. Let's sort beginning and s dot end. Compilation error. beg beginning. Right. Now we are going to create a result. Okay. Vector bec to your vector of bec to your vector of str string result. Okay. But we are going to return res result. Okay. return res result. Okay. Now what we are going to do is after sorting we'll create a hash map. Okay, we'll create a hash map with index of that one. Okay, let's do this. Ordered map of string and int string and int name it that's a hash map. Okay. Now we are going to check what we are going to do. Like now all of these are sorted. So we will go. We'll check if the sorted string this string already exists in this one. If it exists, if it does not exist, we'll add it. If it exists, like if sorted exists, we'll add those index to this one. Okay, what we're going to do is let's try this one. For each and I 0 I less than string strs size I plus plus. Yeah. Now what we're going to do is check if no, temp. So check and sorry, smap find what find temp I if it does not end if it does not exist it's hsm temp I equal to I. Okay, so we are adding that element and the index of that element as a value key. Just sorted. And show continue. Okay, now we're going to else if already exists what take this one. This one. Instead of an order int we can do the vectors ctl vector of int. Okay, so if it does not exist, what we are doing is if it does not exist that if it does not exist, like first one come, it will check if it exists and if it does not exist. Sorry, what we are going to do is we are going to int. If it exists, we'll create a vector ctl vector of and int index this is 7. If it does not exist, we add. If that check this one, it has not exist. What I want to do is just we are going to do ctl int instead of say if it does not exist, so even doing this, we'll go through this. All we're going to do is what we're going to do is hm dot temp 10 I. That second is vector of integers. Yes, it's push and back I. Okay. Let's say this and this is the same. The first one will come. It will add 0 to that value. Then this one. So this will instead we will add the same element 0 to this value. So comparison. Now we have. Let's print this one. Okay. Let's try printing this one. Okay. Hash map. Okay. Let's print a hash map. It's in okay. Yeah, here. That's in hash map. We are going to do this. Out. Here.scc in a second. Second. Yes. For each and int in period second. Let's take these two out. Okay. Studio. What's this another? And the T and the TN is shared. Three and 4 is one place. Okay. Then 0 is another. 1, 2, 3 is one person. It's both of them are same. Push back I. Action push back I. Push back. Action push back I. We keep on adding to its value. Mm, instead of doing this, if it's being sorted or not, we are checking like if it's sorted or not. Okay, it's not being sorted. That's the issue. It's in that open. So we need to get the temp. Instead of doing this, which I independent I is equal to 0, I is less than independent is size. Space later in this copy to input temp I temp I temp I okay, now it's sorted again. So this was not sorting. So now if we check this 0 1 3 4 5 again, we are getting what we want. So we'll look to this one. Now we have indices. Index like 5 should be single, 2 4 should be 1, and 1 3 0 1 3 should be 1. Okay. So what we're going to do is remove this one. We'll create a vector of string. Vector of string. Name it T. Okay. Now what we're going to do is T dot USH push back what strs dot I push back. Then once we push this all, what I do res dot push back T. So let's just okay. Let's send this one. So now it's working. Okay, everything is working as intended. Okay, now let's move on to the next problem. One second. 1 hour 10 minutes. Let's top key frequent elements. Given an integer array nums and an integer k, return the k most frequent elements. You can return the answer in any order. Okay, the k most frequent element given an integer array nums. Okay, nums and an integer k, return the key most frequent element. You may return the answer in any order. Key most frequent. Okay, so 2. So we need 2 most frequent element from this array. Okay, so what it's generally saying is so what it's saying is like if you have 1 1 1 2 2 2, it's a 3 3 4, like if k is equal to 2, we need value of k is 2, we need 2 most frequent element, like 1, how many time 1 is there, 1 2 3, so 3. How many time 2 is there, 2 is, let's say, 3 times. And how many time 3 is there, it's 2. And how many time 4 is there, 1. So we need 2 most frequent. So from this side, what are the 2 most frequent element, like 1 is 3 times and 2 is 3 times, so we need to return 1 and 2. Let's say if this was also 3, so this will be 2 and this will be 3. So what will be the 2 most frequent element, that will be 1 and 3. So we need to return this. Okay, so let's move on to the problem. So most frequent element, so how we are going to solve this one. Okay, so 1 1 1 2 2 2 3. So most frequent element, so it's easy. If we go to the constraints, num length can be this one. Okay, this can be negative and value of this can be negative, and k is in the range of 1 to the number of unique element in an array. Okay. So what we are going to do is we are going to create an hash map. One of the basic simple problem, simplest way we can do is create a hash map, count all the element. Okay, then count all the element as a value of an hash map. Then we will use a hash map values to order the to get the elements, like we'll get the hash map values, create an sorted elements. If you simply see this problem, we can use a bucket sort. Okay, so what we're going to do is like, let's do this. So what we're going to do, first of all, count all the element using hash map. Okay, ordered map of int and let's do count. Okay, we're going to count for each int I in nums. We are going to do it simply, so you have to count I plus. Okay, now we have the count of all the elements. We'll have count of all the elements, right? Now we have these. So what now we are going to do bucket sorting. Okay, bucket sorting. So we know how many elements are here. Okay, we know this. So we are going to create an array of the same length as this one. Okay, so let's say 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. We have nine nine. So 9 elements. So create an array of 9 elements. Now we have a map. Now we have a map of how many elements exist in this one. So one exists 3 times. So what we're going to do is at in this array at index 3 to 3, at index 3 we are going to add 1. Okay, so at and then 2 exists 2 times, so at 2 we are going to add again, we are going to add 2 at index 2. Okay, so now at index 3 again 3 exists 3 times, so we already have 1, so we are going to add again 3. So instead of array of integers we will have an array of vectors. Okay, we'll have array of vectors, so we can add more. So let's implement this one. Okay, what we're going to do is for each int I, now we have map this one, will create an array of vectors. Okay. So what we are going to do is will be city or vector int int use security bucket, name it bucket. We are going to do this of size, how much, non-stat gth length, what length. Okay, number vector of bucket nums length. What we are going to do is loop through the map. Let's loop through the map for each pair count. Okay, we are going to do, we are going to get value. What we are going to do is okay, what we are going to do is pair dot second. What I'll do is use security bucket, right, at pair dot cc and second. What we're going to do is that pair dot second, what we're going to do is use push back pair dot is first. Okay, so what at index we are going to push the value. Okay, let's see if it works. Okay, we have created this strong vector. int n is going to n static in g tickets. Let's see if this works. Okay. So size, it says it is size. It's not length, it's size. Yeah, need to return. But now we need see to your vector vector of int. We need 1 and 2. 1 and 2 are the most frequent one. Okay, so what we're going to do is int result. So now we have this one. Now we'll loop through for each I and int I is equal to create bucket that it is size so I is greater than zero, greater than or equal to 0, I minus minus. Let's start from the end. We will move back and check if create bucket I is not equal to null. Not equal null, then we'll loop through for each and int in create bucket I. We are going to do is .push push back I. Yes, I not use G. G, okay. Push back G. Every time I push back, what I will do is K minus minus. Okay. If K equal to 0, then we are break if K equal to 0, and return arrays result bucket dot create bucket dot size bucket dot size is, and we know that, and is not equal to null. Equal to int. Okay, what's wrong? What's wrong? Initial list cannot be used on the right hand side of this. Slicer list cannot be used on the right hand side of operator. Bucket sort. Written bucket sort. Did it add this pair? Means scan index we are adding specs, so this is also happening. So this is not also the problem. So what's the problem? So we are doing this, right? Okay, it will be 0 if I remove this one. So if bucket, if it is slice, wait. But variable side object may not be initialized. Where am I getting an error? If the bucket is bucket I is null, we need to break bucket I is not necessarily boolean. Why am I getting an error? Fuck. Bucket I bucket I dot size is not equal to 0, then if it's equal to 0, then that we push all of these at the correct. Let's look first of all for each. त्यो पनि गर्न खोजिरहेछु बरोबर के भइरहेछ what let's put this into the chat GPT. So see chat GPT. Let's see. Size break bytes run. If one frequency bucket is empty, you should skip it. So not stop in tab. Hey, sorry. Okay. CONTI anyway, continue. And there is more error. And right now you permanently exiting the loop valid. Replacing the break with continue. So that and return a result again. Return a result. Students bucket is empty. NPTY TY. Error. There is only subtle issue left that can cause during the compiler. This why this is risky and is not a compile time constant. This is a variable length array. This is not standard C++. It may work in C, but it can fail somewhere in OSB. So we can do this one. Vectors of int. Instead of doing this, vector of VCT or vector VCT or vector of int, create a bucket. And this one, vectors of int. Also note we use n+1 because the frequency can go up to n. Okay, so we are doing n+1 because frequency can go, so means that we are doing n+1 because if you see this element, any element can be 1 times. So 0, there is no 0. So if it is 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 only, but all can be 1. then in that case, right? So why we are doing this n plus 1? So we are doing this n plus 1 because we are doing this n plus 1 because like if all the elements are 1, so its size is 1 2 3 4 5 5. But if we create an array of length 5 2 3 4 5 0 1 2 3 4, so we want last index is only 4, we are never using 0, we need 5 here, so we can add 1 here. 5 index 5, so we can add 1, so that's why we are doing n plus 1. Okay, now let's submit this one. Okay, let's go to our submission, previous submission. Okay, previous submission was also the same. We're counting, we're getting count num plus 1, the count to nums, so we're doing bucket. Then result, we are going map counts, we're doing this bucket. Just to first, then we are again same thing, we are going from size, okay, this again plus num size, num, why we are doing this num, this is bucket. Okay, the bucket size is n. Okay, F6. If we go to the paint, we need 5 5 5. If we use the bucket, this is n plus 1, so 5 plus 1 6 6, so we have 6 boxes, so at 5 the 5 is index, so this is working. Okay, like we are able to do this because like it's 6, let's say the n is 5, then we are adding one extra box, so there is 6 elements, so what the sixth element index is 5, so we are able to do this. Okay. Okay, otherwise we can do this bucket, but we need to do this -1 because bucket will be size 6, but we need 5 in this. Okay, now let's move on to the next problem. The product of array except itself. So now this problem we will do later. Now I need to go somewhere, so I will be okay. Thank you.